Hi, I'm Noah Barrasso, the commercial real estate broker for today's leading entrepreneurs. Okay, just because we're all locked up at home and can't go anywhere does not mean we can't still have some fun and interview today's leading entrepreneurs. So, I'm bringing you the MarTINY Shot. Yes, that is the mini version of the MarTINY Shot, but with the same goal. Let's interview today's leading entrepreneur while they're in quarantine and figure out what's still making them tick. This is the MarTINY Shot. Here we go, Noah Barrasso here with another wonderful edition of the MarTINY Shot, the tinier version of the MarTINY Shot, here with my good friend, Alexi Venneri. Did I get it right?
Venneri.
Venneri, hey, from Digital Airstrike, founder of Digital Airstrike. Welcome. Why don't you do a quick, let us know who you are and your company real quick.
Sure. Well, I'm co-founder and CEO at Digital Airstrike and started the company, interestingly enough, about 10 years ago, right in the height of the recession. So I got to say, we were made for this.
You got it.
We didn't start off with a lot. We were pretty scrappy back then, and we are right now too. So we've been really fortunate, gone through a lot of iterations of the company, but basically we initially started off in the recession trying to find unique ways to connect businesses to consumers on social media. And it was before there was advertising on the social networks, any of that. And we're like, why are we always just trying to pull in these consumers? Let's go to where they are and use technology to do that, to really monetize social media. From there, we've evolved. We really have a lot of consumer experience technology tools to really engage consumers online in a virtual environment. So it's kind of like it's been building up to this. Suddenly, we're incredibly valuable to businesses nationwide. Because we have a lot of different tools. So we have ways to leverage video like this to connect with consumers. We have AI chat tools, all the way through kind of that lead nurturing process, as well as all the way through to post-transaction. So we survey consumers to see how their experience was with the business as well. So a lot of different things we do. We're based right here. It was started right in my kitchen table right here in Scottsdale. Wow. In the height of, foreclosures and all that fun stuff. And now we're here in my house in Arcadia. So, we've evolved, but our heart and, soul of the company has stayed here in Scottsdale area. And we have about 164 employees that we've grown to, and we service about 5,000 businesses nationwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cheers. First, let us know what you're drinking. And then before you do that, traditionally, this is at your favorite watering hole bar/restaurant where you like. Unfortunately, we can't be there because of these unfortunate times. Where would we naturally be if we were to host this, like the original MarTINY Shot?
I love Tarbell's. I love Mark Tarbell's. He's great. Or, Mastro City Hall is right in our office building. So they have a pretty mean happy hour there too. So one of those two places, I think. So
what are you drinking now?
This is Tito's and Diet Coke. So it's kind of my go-to.
Fancy.
Yeah.
And do you have a toast you like to say to start things off ever?
Well, if you know me on social media, I'd probably say wag more and bark less.
Love it. Cheers.
Salute. Cheers.
So give me kind of the scoop. Obviously, you're working from home. You've adapted to that. You started from home. Mm-hmm. What's your setup like now? Like, what are some essentials? You get up, you're in your office, you work in your living room. I know you've been posting about some puppies and whatnot. So what are some of the go-to daily interactions you have with folks, or just how are you functioning in your home?
Yeah, well, I think it's because I did start working out of my home originally. I already had kind of an interesting setup. We've got a 9-year-old son, and I tend to take a lot of early morning calls. We work with a lot of clients out in Detroit. We work in automotive a lot. So I was already kind of up and going in the mornings. So I was already kind of home officing in the mornings, and then I would go into our main office in the afternoon or travel. So not that much has changed. I've got kind of a little cubbyhole office. My husband is taking the main office. It's harder for him. He's not used to working from home with 4 dogs, a kid, various family members kind of coming and going. So, but no, my office has always been kind of my laptop, wherever it is I am. Actually, right here on my front porch, which is where I am now, just so we don't see dogs as much. This is kind of like, Napa of the South. I'll sometimes have our team members over to my house and we sit here on the patio and, unwind on a Friday. So this is kind of, actually a Friday meeting spot. And as I said, we've used a lot of technology ourselves. We have remote team members. We have an office near Detroit. We've got 2 in California. So we were already very much virtual. So it's not that different, but I do miss seeing as many people in the office. I was in there earlier today, and we still got some folks coming and going, and we have a studio there, but I miss the energy. So I'm looking forward to getting back there with all of our team.
We literally had a call with Jonathan, hosted it today. And people are asking, is there going to be a, are we expecting a lot of people to go back to an office environment, being a tenant advisor? And I think there's a huge need of people and energy. And it's just like, you can be productive at home and you can do that. But after a while, it's like people need each other. So it's, I definitely can't wait to get back to the office too, which let's piggyback off that. I've been fortunate to have known you for a while in your company, and your culture is second to none. It's absolutely amazing. How are you keeping morale up right now? And what are you doing to kind of, it sounds like you guys are doing some happy hours, maybe some virtual ones. What else are you guys doing to kind of keep people, team spirits alive?
Yeah. Well, we've always had a Facebook group, and I would encourage folks, if you've never started one, now's a great time. We celebrate things from anniversaries, birthdays, customer kudos when our clients send us a testimonial. So we've really, I think, even just embraced that group even more now. So that's been very helpful. I would say too, we send around, company-wide emails, something called bullseyes, to let people know when we get a big win. We used to do monthly team gatherings where we'd celebrate and recognize each other and give out some awards. So what we transitioned to, we just did the 3rd one today, so 3 weeks in a row. We're now doing Friday company calls. Okay. So we're keeping it really tight. It's done in a webinar format, like a GoToMeeting or a WebEx. And the entire company calls in. It's 30 minutes. And we just give some updates. I'm giving updates on what I'm seeing with things like, business loans and, how it's impacting our clients, ourselves as a business. Certainly revenue's down a little bit, but just kind of some of the cool ways we're seeing our clients adopt technology. And then we have had each week a different department with different managers on camera. We had somebody today from her backyard. A couple people were in the office, somewhere in their living room, just talking about how they've had to innovate and evolve during these times. And I love that. I mean, that's how our company started. We were scrappy, we're innovative, we like to kind of hustle. And I'm letting them just take away the call and talk about what they're doing, which has been super, I think, empowering for everybody. And then we've done something kind of fun. So we've always done a monthly Whatever It Takes award. And now we're doing them on the spot. We're just kind of picking people in the last week that went above and beyond and did something cool. I think last week we gave awards to some of our staff that jumped in and did videos. So we actually have a little studio, and we all kept our distance, 6 feet apart. But we did some videos that we call them ready-made, where it talks about social distancing or how you can make sure that you can virtually communicate with customers. So our clients could take those videos and we would promote them on social media or email, saying, hey, we're following all best practices, and we're here for you. And it was actually our staff that volunteered to be the actors, because we're not hiring actors right now. So that was really cool. And they win $100 and everyone cheers. And the other thing we've always done is we've got a group of employees that created DAS Ventures. And it's a way to help. DAS Ventures, like Digital Airstrike, but DAS Ventures, like adventures. And we do a lot of charities locally. And we also do lots of fun social kind of happy hour things. Well, right now, DAS Ventures has migrated into our Facebook group. So every day there's a challenge. So, one day's challenge was, act like you're somewhere tropical, show us, where you are. Next week, we're doing a give back challenge. So every day we're doing something to inspire the community. Monday, we're going to raise funds for the Maricopa Animal Shelter. They're really low on food, and they've merged all of the animals into one facility, and it's just, no one's coming by with donations, so we're going to do that. The company's going to match all donations. We're going to work with, there's the All-In Challenge, so we're encouraging our employees to do that to help with world hunger. We're going to help with the local humane, or the Goodwill, spring cleaning is a day, so stuff like that. So we're encouraging our team to stay connected, and when they do something, they post a photo or a video, and we actually enter them to win trips and other things later when we can do that. But also it's a way they actually, the more they participate in the charitable events, they actually earn time off themselves. Oh, wow. So they get points to get extra days off, just to kind of thank them for doing that. So yeah, we've just kind of evolved what we've always done with our culture, but it's very virtual now. And it's still great. I think that we're all very connected.
It's a lot. Who oversees that? Or do different people oversee that? I'm just curious for people watching this, how they can get more involved. And I mean, that was one of my questions. You just answered.
Yeah, great
To give
question.
back to help and create something. I think people might hear that and get overwhelmed. How do you guys do that just from a micro to get started?
How do you execute? We've always looked at it as a partnership really between HR and marketing. We've got a very strong event team. My background's originally marketing, so I get involved. I think it's really important to market to your internal clients, which are your employees. But also it's that group. We've actually got a group of volunteers that they meet now virtually. They talk about the events. They organize it. They kind of divide up the tasks. You know, one person will volunteer to do the, Humane Society project. Someone else will do something else. And it's a good way to get the departments involved cross-functionally. Our developers might want to do a Star Wars themed event, and that's cool. And they do that. And, everyone kind of gets involved. So it's important, though. It can't just be forced on somebody. Right. You can't force that culture. You got to, get the team involved and have them a part of what that's going to be.
Love that. So a lot of our clients, as well as people that are going to watch this, have multiple offices as well. How do you keep people connected in these times? Are they invited to all the stuff you were just talking about? Do they do their own things where, in their separate locations?
Yeah, 100%. So that's what we do. We've always kind of done a lot of video. Even when we would gather as a group, we would video broadcast the team in the big conference room or whatnot to the other offices. So if they're office based, they would still join in, still gather in a conference room, still participate. If they're home office, if they're a remote team member, we've always included them. We have lots of little programs where we can virtually send things to each other, like kudos. And really, the fact that I was home based when we started the company. We've really embraced social media. It's just kind of second nature for us, but you definitely want to find ways to involve everybody. And I think given today's, strange times, businesses are going to have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. It's not an option anymore. And I think it'll be more natural now to involve people, even if you have different office locations or people working from home. So yeah, and then when we can, travel again, certainly we like to have some of our remote team members come in maybe once a quarter to our main office to get that vibe, to, attend some of these social events in person. So we always try to just be kind of smart about that. We've even, speaking of real estate, we actually rent a corporate apartment and make that available to folks, even if they want to come on a Friday and bring their family and spend the weekend in Scottsdale. Maybe not now. It's for the first day, it's feeling a little warm. We've had a great spring, but certainly the rest of the year, it's been great to have them come visit.
I know my allergies are off their rocker right now.
I know, me too.
So since you've been working from home for so long, is there anything funny that's happened? Any quirky stories to share? Is there, you wake up or your dog?
Probably just my son. After I started the company, I was pregnant 2 months later. So he's been hearing every conference call. He's been somewhere nearby, and it's amazing. Now he's doing the online learning, and he's like, oh, I get to do a Zoom call now. So he has a great appreciation for it. Sometimes after a conference call that I don't really notice he's listening, he'll come by and go, Mommy, you were really right when you made that point that they need to take accountability.
It's going to be your next, CFO.
He's like 9. Yeah, I've got a little CEO in training. So that's been cool. And he's definitely like, I'm going to start my own business. And he's right now coding a video game in the other room. So that's been good because I think it's important your kids see you do business, that you're teaching them in some ways more than what they can learn in school. So that's been something that has been wasn't an intended part of when I started the company from home, but certainly has been a benefit. And now that I'm home more, it's kind of all coming back to me. Because in the early days of Digital Strike, he was right there, so it's pretty cool. So I would embrace that.
Yeah.
I think too, people are going to be a lot more flexible. In the past, I think if you're working from home, you'd hide the kids away or the dogs couldn't run in and bark. Now it's happening with everybody. And I think it makes people more human, which is kind of cool. Before we actually turned on the recording, we're chatting about you being in Tucson and your bar setup and your internet. And I think that's cool that people are now a little more open about that.
That is the whole reason. I'm so glad you said that. That's the whole reason I'm doing this, is to kind of humanize people with success. Yeah. I think people put everyone on a pedestal and they act like, and it's kind of cool to see normal life and kids running around in the background or dogs doing this or that. But so you guys had some big news lately. You guys just had some cool article come out that Haley actually shared with me as well. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So we've had a couple big things recently. we had just launched a couple new technology products around really helping consumers with online transactions. And one big piece was leveraging video to communicate, where, for example, a salesperson could record themselves explaining a product, send it to the consumer that they could kind of digest on their own time, and then the consumer can respond back with a video. It can also be used for video testimonials post sales. So, after somebody buys a car, they could actually show their car in their driveway and how excited they were, or a piece of real estate that they really love, right? And they can show how they're using it, which I think is really important. So that's been great. And that product just came out. It's called Video Logics, just in February. And we've since packaged it with our suite of solutions into what we're calling the virtual retailing program. We're offering it no charge for any business that would like to try it. It includes a number of things such as AI chat and some training and just some best practices to really, engage with consumers in a virtual environment. So that's getting a lot of press and traction, which is great. And then as a part of that, we did partner with GoDaddy. They're doing a whole campaign called Open We Stand. So just because a physical location might have to close for a while or now practice social distancing, that doesn't mean your business has to shut down in some cases. So let's use websites, let's use chat, let's use technology to still, have e-commerce. And some businesses maybe did it in a little way, but now they really have to do it more. So GoDaddy's also offering a lot of things with us and other partners at no cost to get businesses through this time. So we're getting some press for that. And we're just excited we can help businesses locally, but really across the country.
Yeah, and I'm always looking to help others, to help you all as well as other folks. Who's the perfect candidate to use that? Like, describe that perfect user so I can help get the word out. This might help get the word out. Is it just small businesses in general, or what's that kind of sweet spot?
I think the sweet spot is for any business where maybe historically they had to show a product, and they were so ingrained and they had to have a consumer come to their point of business to see it. Mm-hmm. So maybe buying a vehicle, or even think about senior living centers, right? In the past, assisted living, they tour the units, or even multifamily housing apartment communities. And now maybe people can't go, right. It doesn't make sense, but they still want to think about that unit for maybe 60 days from now, and they still want to know what it looks like. Why not use video? A lot of businesses, really any industry, can use artificial intelligence and chat today, especially if maybe they've had to do some furloughs or layoffs. But consumers are now online more than ever. They're searching, they're researching, right? So if you're selling a product or a service that would have somebody go back and forth and ask questions and want to know more information about certain pieces of your inventory, it's perfect for that. So thanks for asking. But again, it's at no cost right now. We want to help businesses just embrace leveraging new tools. And if they're maybe a little slower right now, now's a great time to learn. It's like taking a master class in, virtual retailing and e-commerce. So, embrace it. Try it now while things are slower, and then you can come back really strong once, I think it's going to be like all this pent up demand. Where consumers have been researching for months, and then they're going to go out and start buying things again and doing things again. But they're going to get really used to doing it virtually, and they're going to actually prefer it. So as a business owner, you've got to be prepared to accommodate that. It's
kind of perfect timing for you. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for thinking of us, and good to connect. And
so wrap it up,
we can all get together again.
No, I'm glad this will be soon. This soon will be over. To wrap it up, share what you see as the silver lining of this epidemic, and then kind of what advice would you give other entrepreneurs maybe a little further back in their process than you are currently, especially in these times right now?
Sure. There's a lot of silver linings. I know it may not feel like that, but in my life, I've gone through a lot of tough times, and I've always come out stronger and better for it. And I really believe our society, our human race absolutely will. My point of view is this horrible virus we've never been exposed to. We don't have ancestors that have built up DNA and passed it on to us. We've never, had versions of it growing up so we could build up immunity. So that is why it is ripping through us like a wildfire. And that really, really sucks. It's scary. I don't want to have to worry about getting my COVID shot every year, but that may be where it goes to. On the other hand, I think we're going to learn so much. The whole world is coming together. We're embracing technology. The scientific community or healthcare heroes, what they're doing is amazing. They're the real heroes. I think a lot of us got a little too materialistic, wrapped up in celebrity and selfies, and come on, let's get back to family. I mean, this feels like, growing up in the 80s, my summer vacation, we were stuck at home. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have, a computer. So, I think it's time to get back to family and basics and learn from that. But also, I really do believe the world coming together, sharing best practices around medicine, the environment, everything seems a lot cleaner right now, right? So let's take advantage of that. Let's help stop some of the climate change. And I just think we're going to get stronger from it. I think that we're going to learn ways to maybe combat all sorts of illness and disease. I'd like to see all of the numbers for everything come down. And I think as business owners, a real near-term immediate thing is look at your budgets, look at your vendors, who's helping you, sharpen those pencils, look at your team, who's stepping up, who should be promoted. Should you be hiring for new positions? Yes, you can hire right now. We've been hiring for certain positions because we found we need different people. This is a great reset. And the great thing is it's not just you alone and your business that's in trouble. All of us are feeling it. So it's a blip and we're doing it together. So you're not going to be penalized for your financials. If you're looking to go public or get acquired, we're all going to look at this time in 2020 at, okay, but what did you learn from it? And embrace that. And, look for ways you can get mortgage relief, loan forgiveness. There's a lot of things out there. A lot of people willing to help. So do the research, take the time, look at the silver lining. There is light at the end of the tunnel for sure.
I love that so much. I can't say anything else to top that. All I can say is thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're super busy right now and your team's growing and you guys are kicking butt. So thank you so much. Until next time,
Thank you, Noah.
thank you. We'll talk to you all next time.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Cheers.